Hi guys, my name is Steve B. I want to come to you today about, I want to talk a little bit about staying sober for today, but I want to touch on step 5, which is admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another person the exact nature of our wrongs. That's a really, really important thing, that we learn to get out of ourselves because, when we're stuck in our own head, things are not good, and when I first came into recovery, I knew that I had a lot of problems, and I had no idea how to deal with them. I really had no idea how to deal with them, but I little bit at a time, I found that I can do that, like touching on that step 5, that's really important. There's a formal thing to do, but I think every time we share, we're doing a little bit of step 5, and that's how we clean up our the insides, and I think it's very important, you know. There's a saying in recovery that we're only as sick as our secrets, and that goes for me. That goes for everybody. Secrets are not good. And sharing with God, ourselves, and another person. Well, we all know what they are. We all know what the bad stuff is. We know that garbage inside our heads got to come out, and it will, but we got to take the time to do it. And I remember doing an official step 5 at one point. And there was a meeting. It was at a church, and I shared my first step 5 with my friend Bruce. He was always at that meeting, and I knew he'd be there early because he always set up for the meeting, and he always did coffee, and he was a real good service person. And what I did was, I sat down with him. I told him, like, well, kind of basically, you talk about your step 4, and you talk about the problems, and you talk about the exact nature of them, in step 5. So I did a formal one like that, and I did a number of formal ones with other people also, because I had a lot of garbage from my past, and the garbage had to get thrown out. So little by little, it has been, and like I said, they say you're only as sick as your secrets. I don't have a lot of secrets today. I don't have any, really. I have some OCD things that I kind of hang on to because I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed about them. But um, for Pete's sakes, yeah, step 5. I admit it. I would suggest that for anybody and everybody. And like I already mentioned, I go to meetings every day, and at the meetings we talk, we share. Meeting before the meeting and the meeting, get a lot of junk out, a lot of that garbage that got to get out of my head. I can't keep it in there because nothing good's going to come out of that. So every day we do a little bit more, and every day we have new stuff that's happening. Maybe new problems, maybe new things that are going on. Either way, we have to deal with it. We got to go through life, and you know, I used to kind of say, well, I know, and God knows, and that's good enough. But we never really become entirely part of the human race until we do step 5, because when other people know, that's like, okay, there's no more secret. I can get better, and it definitely does make you better. It makes that garbage that you're carrying around up in your gray matter less and less and less. I um um I have to get it out. I can't keep it in there because it's going to build up and build up and build up, and it's gonna make me very messed up in my head. I don't want to be messed up in my head. Well, so guys, how are you doing today? Today is May 2nd, 2025. And I love May. May for me is the best month of the year. It's my birthday month, and I'm not thrilled about getting older. I'm gonna be 68 if I should live to the 21st, which whatever. It's a blessing to get old in recovery, and 68. I'm getting up there, but it's I don't know. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. Living and aging in recovery is a gift from God. It beats the alternative. Better to age than to die, I guess. No, well, I don't know. I have a faith. I have a relationship with Jesus today. So when I do die, I want to go be with Him. So I'm kind of excited about that. I don't want it to happen right away. I want time to go by the way it's supposed to go by. But I'm going to be with Him, so it's not necessarily a bad thing. I have a relationship with Jesus today, and I pray to Him all the time. And I talk to Him all the time, too, Step 11, pray. I pray all the time to Him. Sometimes I'm not very good at it, when my mind is going around and around and around. I gotta, just kind of like stay where I am and look to God and look where my feet are. That's my stomping grounds for that moment. And but step 5, very important. If you haven't done one, I suggest you do. You could do it with your sponsor. You could do it with a friend. You can do it with a clergy person. You could do it with a stranger. It doesn't matter as long as you do it. I've heard of people doing it with a complete stranger on a plane they're never going to see again, and whatever. But it has to be somebody that you're going to trust, though. That's not going to spread your news all over the place, because that's not good. That's not good. And it does happen. I went to a meeting one time, and this guy was sharing about how he did his step 5 with his sponsor, and when he was done doing his step 5, the sponsor looked at him and said, "I can't be your sponsor anymore. Go find someone else." And that's terrible. That's terrible. But whatever, whatever. So be careful. Be careful. You don't want to put your recovery at risk at all. Well, look around, look in meetings, or like I said, it could be someone else. It could be a complete stranger. It could be anybody, but I think step 5 is very necessary. It says in our literature, if you don't really do good with step 5, you probably won't stay sober. But yeah, for me, I had a lot of problems family wise, and I would call up my sponsor all the time and do little more, emptying it out, and today I'm good. And why am I good? Because I did step 5, because I have a God in my life, and God was with me the whole time, and He's with me now. He's with me talking to you guys. I ask Him to put the words in my mouth, because my words are basically going to fall on the ground and probably not be too fruitious. But if I ask God to help me and say the right thing and do the right thing, I'll be on the right path. It's a gloomy day today. It's all cloudy. I don't see any sun. I don't see any sun on this May 2nd, 2025. None. But that's okay, because you know what? The sun is always shining behind the clouds. It is. Yeah, and that's huge. Yeah, sunshine, beautiful sunshine. It's behind the clouds, but it may come out, and I hope it does. I hope it does. And how you guys doing today? You doing all right? You don't want to drink, hopefully. Drinking's not going to change anything. You know, stay on the straight and narrow. And if you're having a hard time, if you're, you know, like having a rough day or whatever, and a drink sounds really good to you, think about it. You know, got a friend that always says, and I love this. He says, before you pick up, remember why you quit. You know, that's very, very good, because, you know, you'll be reminded very quickly, you know, why you quit, you know. So just think about it before you pick up. That's kind of like, giving up. That's giving up, you know, and you don't want to do that. Don't give up. Don't give up. You come too far for that. You know, so just don't drink. A minute at a time, an hour at a time, a day at a time, whatever. Break it down how you will, but you don't have to. You don't have to. And I'm here to encourage you not to. That nothing good's gonna come out of it. So you know, yeah, you know, I'm glad to come to you to share a little bit about step 5. You know, sharing with yourself, God, and another person the exact nature of your wrongs. And you could do that on a one-on-one basis. You can do it in a group setting. You could do it with God. You can do it anytime with anyone. But just be careful that you pick the right person, because you know, you pick the wrong person, you might be in a pickle, so to speak, and you don't want that. You wanna pick the right person, and you know, so think about it before you actually do it. You know, because you know, not everybody's bad. You know, there are people out there that are willing to help you. There are people out there that are thrilled that you're getting sober. And don't forget about that. But number one should be yourself. So put yourself first. That's not being selfish. That's being wise. You know, if you're being yourself, you know, with no lies. Honesty is so important. You read chapter 5, how it works. Honesty is mentioned 3 times in the very first paragraph. You know, honesty is so important, you know, so being honest when you're sharing, be honest with yourself, be honest with God, be honest with others. And, it's a great path to be on. It's so much freaking better than lying your way through life. You know, it's going to be a great day. You know, and I'm happy to come to you guys and share this with you, you know, because, you know, I had a lot of experience with step 5. I had issues with a family member, and step 5 was the only thing that worked. Step 5 worked. Nothing else worked. And so I really took full advantage of step 5. God knows that you know, it was a hard one thing, and it's a day at a time thing. But today, you know, a lot of it is gone, and you know, thank God that it's gone. You know, the pain, the suffering. You know, not into that anymore. I didn't get sober to be full of pain and misery. You know, what does the sign say again? Remember? Over at there's a club around here, and it says, we didn't get sober to be miserable. And I got to remember that on a daily basis. I didn't get sober to be miserable. I want to be happy today. And who holds the keys to my own happiness? I do. You do. Guys, give me a like and subscribe. You know, I'm glad you came to me today to remember step 5. Remember that, you know, you can do this thing. You can do it. You know, it's not, you're not alone. You're not alone. That with God's help, you can do it. And glad to be with you. God bless. Give me a like and subscribe.